If you're a veteran or an active duty service member, you're sitting on one of the most powerful wealth building tools in America, the VA loan. And the VA loan is a powerful tool because it allows you to put 0% as your down payment. It has no credit score requirement. Although many lenders do require a 500 credit score, there's going to be no mortgage insurance on that loan. And on top of that, the VA loan has some of the most competitive interest rates available. My name's Darren Tsai. I'm a mortgage broker located in California. I'm licensed in other states as well. And my channel is dedicated to helping people just like you build wealth through real estate. If you are a veteran or an active duty service member, thank you for your service. And today I'm going to break down how a VA loan works so you can get into a home with zero down payment. So how does a VA loan actually work? And why are they letting you put 0% as your down payment? The VA itself actually guarantees 25% of your loan, even though you put down 0%. Now, the VA doesn't actually lend you the money. You would still need to qualify for that mortgage through a lender. The VA just guarantees 25% of your loan. Let me give you an example of how that would work. That means if you buy a $400,000 house, the bank only carries a risk of $300,000, but they still get to earn interest on that full $400,000. So this is a win-win for you and the bank lending you the money. And that's why you'll get access to some of the most competitive interest rates. It's less risk for the bank, they get to earn more on it, and you also don't have mortgage insurance. So that's a cost that most home buyers face because they don't have a 20% down payment. And for VA loans, it's not a part of it. VA loans are also a little bit more flexible in terms of qualifying for the actual loan. And this goes back to the VA guarantees 25% of the loan. So that means the government is essentially vouching for you. And on top of that, you basically have the best co-signer in the country, Uncle Sam. Okay, so now let's talk about if you're eligible or not. And so you now might be wondering, how do I sign up? Am I eligible for this? So I'm going to cover the eligibility requirements. If you are active duty, you'll need 90 consecutive days of service. If you are a veteran, you must have honorable discharge. If you're in the National Guard or your reserves, you'll need 6+ years or 90 days of active service. Now, when it comes to surviving spouses, there is eligibility in certain cases. If you're not sure, go ahead and email me directly. Now, if you really want to go ahead and confirm, you got two options here. You can go to the VA website. There's a link right here for it, and there'll be a link in the description below. And you can pull your own certificate of eligibility. Or you can reach out to a lender like myself, and we have access as well to pull the certificate of eligibility for you. Now, keep in mind, just because you have the certificate of eligibility does not necessarily mean you're going to qualify for the home loan. You would still need to go through the actual loan qualification portion. Now, there's something called the VA funding fee that we definitely need to talk about. So when you qualify for a VA loan, the one knock that it has on it is there's a funding fee. And so for first-time users, it's 2.15% of the loan amount. And this funding fee can be waived entirely if you have a disability rating of 10% or more. And currently in the real estate market, a lot of home buyers are getting seller credits to help cover closing costs as well. And so if you're curious about the actual funding fees that you might be charged when you get the VA loan, go ahead. This table will show you everything, right? First use, if your down payment is less than 5%, 2.15% is the funding fee. If you put down 5% or more, 1.5% is the funding fee. If your down payment is 10% or more, 1.25% will be your funding fee. The great part about the VA loan is that you can use it multiple times, depending on the amount of entitlement you have. And so if you decide to buy a second home or you use your VA loan on a refinance, you would have what's called a subsequent use. So the funding fee will be different for those. If your down payment is less than 5%, your funding fee will be 3.3%, 5% or more, 1.5%, 10% down payment or more, 1.25% for your funding fee. The funding fee is pretty much the only potential bad thing anyone could say about the VA loan. Otherwise, the VA loan is the best home loan out there. As mentioned before, you can put 0% down. You don't have to, but you're allowed to. So you could potentially buy a home with nothing out of pocket. I've also seen VA purchases where the buyer actually gets money back. Another great thing about VA loans is that there's no mortgage insurance and it has flexible qualifications. Like I mentioned before, the VA loan doesn't actually require a certain credit score, but many lenders, the lowest credit score they'll go down to is 500. So as long as you have over 500 credit, you could potentially qualify for the VA loan. And on top of that, VA loans, because they are guaranteed, like I mentioned before, have some of the most competitive interest rates out there. Historically, VA loans are about 0.5% lower than conventional interest rates. Additionally, with VA loans, there's going to be limits on closing costs. So this protects veterans and service members from excess junk and hidden fees. Overall, the VA loan's designed to protect you, just like you helped protect us and our country. And something that gets me pretty fired up is when veterans get screwed. So most people will just type in VA loan on Google and they'll do an online search, which pops up a couple big lenders. And they typically just pick whoever pops up first. And usually that's a pretty big mistake. I've had clients in the past go with some of these big names that show up first on an online search. And after reviewing their loan estimate and their potential interest rate that they were going to get and the fees they were getting charged, they were absolutely getting screwed, which is disgusting to me. And those big name lenders usually show up first because they pay a bunch in marketing. But those marketing costs often fall onto you as the borrower. So they're charging you these additional fees, these higher interest rates to help cover their cost of marketing. And so if you're actually in the process of already getting a VA loan for a purchase or even looking at a refinance, if you want a second opinion, you can email me at darren@realdarrensci.com and just make sure you're not getting screwed. If it's a great deal, I'm going to tell you and I'm just going to have you go with them. But I've had multiple clients in the past that just didn't know better and they ended up saving tons of money, not just on their monthly payment, but also the interest over the life of their loan, just by getting a second opinion. If there's just one thing I want you to take away from this video, it's that if you're eligible for a VA loan for a home purchase or a refinance, it will be the best loan out there. As always, thanks for watching my videos. Thank you for your service. And I truly hope you got some value out of this video. I'll see you on the next one.